Logitech Circle View and the Eve Cam are the latest HomeKit and HomeKit exclusive cameras. These are designed to be privacy conscious security cameras for your smart home. Now they both have similar features, so in this video I'm going to take you through the key differences and what I think to them. Hi, welcome back, and my name's John. And if you're new around here, this channel is dedicated to everything HomeKit, news, reviews, and tutorials. So if you're not already a subscriber and you want to find more about HomeKit, then hit the subscribe button, also the bell button to be notified when new videos come out. Also, don't forget to check out HomeKitAuthority.com for more HomeKit news, reviews, and anything that's featured in this video is in the description below. Hi, before we get started, I just want to point something out. This is not an in-depth review of both cameras. I've already done that, and the links for those reviews are in the description below. This video is to call out the key differences between both cameras, but also it's equally important to point out that I'm not going to tell you which camera is right for you, because ultimately you can only make that decision based on the information that you get. If anyone who says this is the best camera and this is the one you should be buying, in my opinion, is talking total rubbish. They don't know what you want in a camera, and the best thing to do is do your own research. But certainly videos like this and videos that other people do can help you make that decision. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So first of all, starting with the design of both cameras. If we look at the Circle View, this is a premium plastic design with a metal base. Now this design I really like. I think it's a really solid camera. That's mainly down to the fact it needs to be waterproof because we can use it outdoors. It's got a cable that's attached to the body of the camera with a USB-A cable on the end. If you are looking to install this camera outdoors, make sure you've got an hole big enough to put the USB-A end through. So that's something to bear in mind. It also features some built-in privacy features. First of all, you can tilt the camera down in order to block the camera view. And you've also got this button which can disable audio and video recording right from the camera. Again, something else to point out, if you are using this camera outdoors, I would recommend putting this in a very hard to reach location, because if someone just simply wanted to turn off this camera, they could just press that button. Now power is provided by the main source, and this needs to be plugged into a socket, which is worth pointing out, the power socket area is not waterproof. Moving on to the Eve Cam. The Eve Cam is a similar design, but it's all made of plastic. And in my opinion, it doesn't feel as premium as a Logitech Circle View. Now the camera itself can be positioned a lot better in my opinion than the Circle View, because you've got the 360 degrees turning angle and also move it backwards and forwards. The charging cable can also be detached and it plugs into a micro USB port. Now again, if you want to install this in your home, you've got the option to put it onto a surface. You also can mount it to a wall with the included wall mount. Now this can be stuck or screwed to a wall, and then the camera simply magnetically attaches to that wall mount. I think it's a lot easier with this wall mount to mount this camera. It also will be a lot easier if you are feeding the power from another room, because the micro USB port is a lot smaller and it allows you to fit it through smaller holes. Finally, it's also powered by mains powered, but because this camera is not waterproof, then it means you can't use it outdoors like the Circle View. So moving on to the features, the app, and how it all works with HomeKit. So first of all, the features are pretty much identical apart from some key differences. They both feature a 1080p HD lens in order to capture footage. They both have got night vision up to 5 meters. They both support two-way audio, which is really useful. However, the Circle View is waterproof and can be used outdoors, whereas the Eve Cam cannot. The Circle View only supports 2.4 gigahertz network, whereas the Eve Cam supports 2.4 and 5. So this is useful in a crowded network environment. Now they both support HomeKit and HomeKit Secure Video. However, the Eve Cam does have its own app. The Circle View has got a 180 field of view, whereas the Eve Cam has only got 150. So the 180 field of view will allow the camera to cover a greater area. In terms of sensors, the Circle View has a lux and a motion sensor, whereas the Eve Cam only has a motion sensor. Both cameras work with HomeKit and HomeKit Secure Video, and setup is very easy. With the Circle View, it's done right from the Home app, and you set up all the way through there. With the Eve, you set it up with the Eve app. Now, both cameras do not collect any data, do not sync any data back to their manufacturers, so everything is 100% private and kept within HomeKit and HomeKit Secure Video. Now, it's worth pointing out both cameras really need to be working with HomeKit Secure Video to take advantage. And that is worth pointing out if you're looking at these cameras, because they certainly don't work with Google or Alexa. Now, as pointed out, the Eve Cam does have its own app. So as well as using it with the Home app, it also can be used within the Eve app. Now, the real benefit here is not necessarily viewing the camera, because you get the same experience within the Home app as you do in the Eve app. It's actually getting the detail around the motion activity that's been detected. For instance, you get a graph within the app where you can see a timeline of motion throughout the day or the last 24 hours. You also can go into an audit record and see when motion has been detected and for how long. You also get an audit log of when the camera's changed status. So within HomeKit Secure Video, you can change the camera status based on if someone's at home or someone's away, and it will keep an audit log within the Eve app. Now, this might be useful for some people, it might not be useful for all. However, it's something that's worth considering. So moving on to video and audio performance. As I've already mentioned, both cameras feature a 1080p lens along with night vision up to 5 meters. The Logitech Circle View has got a 180 field of view, whereas the Eve Cam has got a 150 field of view. Now, I placed both of these cameras in my test room that I use for testing HomeKit devices in roughly the same location. I found with the Logitech Circle View, the daytime footage wasn't as good as the Eve Cam. My personal opinion is the Eve Cam footage is a lot clearer than the Circle View. However, with the Circle View, the nighttime footage appears to be a lot clearer and less artifacts. However, this, I want to point out, is all down to personal opinion, and it will depend on what someone wants. Now, I found that also with the Circle View, the range would also be a little bit better, and because I've tested this outside, I've also found it can cover a greater area, and the night vision seems to work really well outside. Now, the audio itself also works really well on both cameras, and it's hard to tell which one is different. Now, I'm not going to play the audio in this video because, in my opinion, playing the audio is all down to the microphones that are picking up that audio. It will sound different to different people's ears, and also the audio equipment that someone's using. So I think it's a waste of time capturing audio and playing it within a video. It just seems totally pointless because it can be distorted, it can be altered in order to manipulate that audio. I'm going to give you my opinion. I think they're exactly the same. Audio quality for both listening and also speaking is adequate enough. I do think outside the Circle View's speaker is not that loud when it's in a busy area, but this is just down to personal preference. So my conclusion, and to wrap up this video, as I said at the very beginning, I wouldn't necessarily tell you which one was the best camera for you. Hopefully from the key differences I've pointed out, it's giving you a good understanding which camera would probably work for you. But what I will do is give you my opinion on which camera is best used for what type of setting. So starting with the Circle View has got a great build quality. It also can be used outside, and it's also got, in my opinion, a better night vision capability. I think this type of camera gives you the option and flexibility, if you buy it, to have the camera outside and inside depending on what you want to use it for. So say in 6 months time to a year's time, you've used it indoors and you get another indoor camera, you can easily put this outside and use it. It's also great if you've got a bigger area because of the wide 180 field of view. Now, it does look a bit distorted at times, but that's just down to the 180 field of view, and it's all down to personal preference. Now, it's a shame that the cord is attached because it can be a little bit difficult to mount it, especially outside if you've got to go through a wall. It means you need a pretty sizable hole in order to feed it through. Now, moving on to the Eve Cam. The Eve Cam, again, is a nice build quality. I don't think it's as good as a Circle View. Now, in my personal opinion, because it's an indoor camera, it's a great option if you want to have it on a shelf or you want to have it mounted to a wall, for instance. Now, I like the fact that you've got the ability to take the cable out and have flexibility on how you mount it because of the 360 degrees turning and also the backwards and forwards. This works really well and it gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of placement. I also like the fact that Eve Cam as an app that gives you a lot more detail in terms of when motion was detected, and also be able to get an audit record of all different motion activity. One of the real benefits of them is they work with HomeKit and HomeKit Secure Video. None of the data is ever exposed outside of your network. So this is really good for those that are privacy conscious and also security conscious that want to make sure that data is not held anywhere else. Ultimately, they're both great cameras, and I think it's down to personal preference or how you're going to be using it. So hopefully you found this video useful, and if you have, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and also subscribe. If you've got any questions or comments, leave it in the comment section below and I will get back to you. Also, don't forget to check out HomeKitAuthority.com and the rest of this channel for more HomeKit news, reviews and tutorials. Thank you very much. I'll speak to you soon.